Good morning, beautiful people. So I'm just going to start off with a quick anecdote from this morning. It wasn't part of the plan, but quite often things do slide into my readings that weren't part of the plan. I had a set plan of what I was going to talk about today. Still going to, but I'm going to start it with this just because it made me giggle, but also think. And I like those two things, so I'm hoping you do too. My 6-year-old son, I was taking him to school this morning, and he was just chattering away in the back seat, and he was just saying, which one are you? Which one are you? And I was like, sorry? And he's like, I'm not talking to you, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to myself. And he continued, which one are you? Which one are you? I don't know what exactly he was talking about, but it just really made me giggle. So yeah, which one are you? Which version of you are you? Because there's lots of versions of you available. And I did actually have Yeshua tell me that the other night. So yes, that was just, maybe it's a mum thing, maybe because it's my child, but it's just funny when you listen to kids, quite often in their play, there is more going on than what we realize. And you know what, I was respectful enough not to ask because I could tell that he didn't want to share it. Now, back on Yeshua. I never really leave him, do I? I did say to you a few days ago that I had an incident. Please go back and watch the video if this does interest you. But just quickly to recap, so I was talking about something that I read on Quora, some mystical guru who claimed that 9 out of 10 people who attempt to open their third eye will either die or spend the rest of their life terrified. And then I said to you, and then I asked Jesus, do you want me to do a reading on this? And then I found a little eye on the floor, and I did actually show it on camera. So yes, he did indeed, and I've spoken to him since. Now, what I said in that video, so I'm talking really quickly, aren't I? Let me just slow it right down. God, my videos are getting longer and longer though, so if I do slow it down, they might be over an hour. Okay, so where was I? Yes, I said to you that I wanted to kind of conduct a bit of an experiment. So I said, I'm going to give you the answer that I think is correct. I said, I don't agree with the statement, and I told you what I think about it. So please go back and watch that. And then I said, what I'm going to do though, is I'm going to take it up to Yeshua, because I always do for the important questions in life. And I said, when I go to the Akashic plane and I speak to him there, he will always give me, answers that are much more complete. I said there are often overlaps, which there are actually. There are overlaps with what I said and what Yeshua said. But I said, the thing is though, there might be something very fundamental that I'm missing. And it was correct. There was indeed. So this is, it's amazing because, the things that he tells me are things that my limited brain just wouldn't know, yeah? And in my day-to-day, when I've got a million other things to give my attention to, it's just not possible. It is an invaluable thing having that quiet time every night that I can just go up to the Akashic plane, or even just in a very, very deep meditation and receive answers from Yeshua. And one of the things I want to say, again, this wasn't planned, but what I love about meditation is that, when we pray, we are talking to God, right? But how do we listen? If you're having a conversation with someone, sometimes you talk and then you listen when they respond, right? What I love about meditation is that that's when I listen, yeah? That's when you can hear what God is saying. Now, I'm not saying it's the only way, because as I've said, and as many of you know, there are many ways that God speaks to us, but, through feelings, and I'm going to touch on that. Not going to touch on that, I'm going to just dive straight into that in a moment. But, with certain things where you need a very specific answer, for example, this third eye question, I wouldn't have been able to get that in a song. If anyone knows a song that says what I'm about to say, please tell me. Please tell me that, because I do love to be proven wrong. Okay, so there's a bit here. So Yeshua drew my attention to a passage in the Bible, and I cannot believe that I've missed this. And I told you I've read, not the Bible per se, because it's more the Testaments. I have read them several times, and I've never ever picked up on this before, and I can't believe it, because it's perfect for so many people who try to put you down for the way you follow Jesus, yeah? So we have Luke 49. Luke 49. And I should have probably maybe had a had a brighter light on, but I've told you about the bright lights in my house. Okay, so John answered, Master, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him because he does not follow with us. But Jesus said to him, do not stop him, for the one who is not against you is for you. Now, please, anyone watching this, please use this passage. So it's John, where are we? John chapter 9, verse 49, okay? Please use this passage for anyone who tries to tell you that you are not following Jesus the right way. Jesus was not a stickler for rules. Apart from loving God with all your heart and loving one another, yeah, he was not a stickler for rules. Look what he said to John, yeah. He's doing the right thing. He's not against us. He's for us, yeah. So if you are for Jesus and you are against Satan, then you are on the right path, okay? So anybody who tries to tell me that I am not, that, you know, I'm exceeding my, what's the word here? What would be the, not expectation, oh God, I wish I had my friend the wordsmith with me right now. Not my rights, like what I'm authorized to do. I do slay demons. I do it all the time. You know, I do it on the Akashic plane. I do intervene in certain situations where people are being attacked. Yeah. And I have many times thought to myself, you know, there are actually members of my family who don't speak to me anymore because of this sort of thing. But, you know, I am against Satan, and you can watch my entire channel. Yeah, my entire channel. How many times do I talk about Jesus? How many times do I talk against Satan? So I am for Jesus. Any of you who are not following the way other people tell you you need to follow, please read that chapter back to them, yeah? Quote Jesus right at them. Okay, so that said, that was the first thing that happened in our conversation. And then what Jesus said, and I don't remember now because it was a few days ago I had that chat and I just haven't had a chance to post. It would have been much fresher the next day. But essentially what he said was that intuition is something that is given to you by God. This is where God speaks to you. And the reason for that is that, here's the bit that I did miss. Intuition is not a thought. Intuition is a feeling. It is a feeling we get. And he drew my attention to a film that I love. And look, I actually really, I'm one of those people who I cannot stand violence. I won't watch violent movies, or I just look away. And I still do in the really, you know, terrible parts of this movie. I do look away, but I've always loved the movie Apocalypto. I just do. Something about, the hunted becoming the hunter. I did a reading called The Hunted Will Become the Hunter a few days ago. That's interesting. Okay, I love when everything just starts to tie in together. But yeah, he drew my attention to a part in the start of that movie where the protagonist, Jaguar Paw, he gets this feeling based on an interaction he has with a member of another tribe. And it's a feeling of what it is. It's his intuition telling him that something terrible is about to happen. But his father, who clearly does not have his intuition developed, he tries to tell him that it's fear. And he said, we have no place for fear in our tribe. Yeah, and he says fear is like a cancer and it will spread. Okay, now his father was using his logic. And what Jesus drew my attention to was the difference between intuition and logic. And again, everything's tying in so beautifully because I did a reading on that recently, and I talked about how Einstein talked about the difference between intuition and logic. So, and it's not logic, it's false logic, by the way, which is the devil's domain. The devil works in false logic, but it doesn't appear false. It appears to be completely rational, okay? And sometimes intuition seems irrational because that's what it is. It's a faith, isn't it? It's a trust because it goes against what appears to be happening on the surface. Yeah, and you need to listen to it, and that's what the devil will do. And what Jesus said was it works in both ways. So there is a difference between, and this may come out a little jumbled, but you're going to follow me. If you're still with me at this point, I know that you're going to follow what I'm saying. Sometimes intuition will let you know that you have something real to be fearful of, yeah? And then the false logic will come in, be it thoughts that come into your own head via the wrong guy, okay, up there, or other people near you, and they'll try and tell you, no, this person's great. What are you talking about? You know, they're wonderful. Everyone loves them. Or no, everything's going to be fine. Oh, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. You know, you're being paranoid. But your intuition, that feeling, is telling you otherwise, yeah? And so many people fall into the pitfall of listening to the false logic. Now, the reverse can also be true. You can have a feeling that everything's going to work out okay. Everything's going to be wonderful. That feeling, this man who was casting out demons, for example, yeah, he would have gotten a feeling that he could do it and he should do it, and he followed it, yeah. Who do you think put that feeling in him? The devil. The devil's going to make him feel like he wants to cast out demons? I don't think so. That would be ridiculous, yeah. He's nowhere near as smart as God, but he's not stupid, okay? So who put that feeling in him to cast out demons? God. God did, okay? God wants people everywhere doing his will, and it's going to come out differently for different people, right? I just heard we're not all ants. Okay, we're not ants, we're humans, okay? Okay. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yes, you'll have a feeling that everything's going to work out okay. You know you should be doing this, or you know this person's actually okay, and then other people are trying to say bad things about them, you know, or people are saying you shouldn't go ahead with this, you know, everything's going to fall apart, yeah? So that is fear-mongering, and that fear is not your intuition. Again, that's false logic. So yes, intuition comes from God. So God would not give you something that if you then tried to develop fully, you're going to die or spend the rest of your life terrified. So that is the answer to that in just under 12 minutes. Okay, now there is something else that I want to say. How am I going to say it? Okay, so because this is a result of two different conversations at two different times, I will try and abridge it, okay? Please be aware that not everybody who reaches success, that just like skyrockets and just achieves instant success or massive success, you know, fairly effortlessly, please be aware that that is not, generally speaking, God's work. It can be, again, use your intuition, discernment is so important. But as a general rule, that's not how God works. That is how the devil works, yeah? When the devil makes a deal with your soul, the devil will give you a lot and very quickly. So sometimes people will say, oh, God must be with this person because look, this person's just, look at all the blessings, yeah? This person is like, has only done, 10 videos and they've gone viral and have millions of YouTube followers or, that's not necessarily God. This was a message that was given to me, and it's not something I had thought about. What happens is, and I was shown this, and this came from a particular person that I watched on YouTube that has millions of followers, right? Millions, and I thought, but something just feels off to me about this person, and I don't understand. That's where it came from. And what Yeshua showed me actually was, and I thought some of the things she was saying, I just thought that doesn't feel true to me. That was my thought. Anyway, Yeshua showed me her nose just getting longer and longer and longer and longer and longer till eventually that nose knocked on a doorbell. Yes, this is how he works, okay? It knocked on a doorbell and the door opened and she was excited, right? But when the door opened, the person who was standing at the door was this guy, right? So, it did not come from God. And the thing that he then said to me was, and, use Hollywood as an example. Think about Hollywood, right? You get these crazy amounts of success. But here's the thing. When you strike a deal with the devil, and it isn't a conscious thing, the majority of the time, these people are not thinking, oh, I want to work for the devil. No, they work for, the values that the devil espouses. So money, fame, glory, this sort of thing. Well, the thing with the devil is he will take you right up to the top, but when you drop, you land on concrete, right? Now, when you work for God, quite often it's going to take longer. It may take longer because he wants to see more effort from your part. He wants to see faith from your part. He wants to see loyalty, kindness. There is a lot that he wants from you. So it's going to take longer, right? And quite often as you're ascending, you're going to drop. Quite often you're going to have little drops, but here's the difference. When you're with God, every time you drop, he's going to send you an angel to catch you, okay? Every time. And that's the difference, all right? So again, I've said this before, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. That's not to say that some people who suddenly reach success It's not from God. But how do you know? And I'll tell you why, because this is what he said to me when I was thinking, what's off about this? What's off about this girl that I'm watching? What's off about her, right? And what is off is that you cannot sense kindness. And it's that simple. It is literally that simple, yeah? And I was like, thank God, because I thought it was going to be something really complicated and convoluted. When it's the really, really important things, it's simple, okay? So she's very confident, extremely confident. Look, a lot of people on the internet are. That's kind of how they make it, right? That's their MO. You got all these people espousing confidence. You can do this, you can manifest, you can have whatever you want. You have no time for self-doubt. All these things they're espousing, right? There's a lot of confident people on the internet. There are a lot of wealthy people on the internet. There are a lot of funny people. There are, a lot. What else, Jesus? Gosh, there are a lot. Okay, he's just told me intelligent. There are a lot of intelligent people who are full of knowledge, okay? But you know what? Have a good look now. How many people do you watch on a video and just think, this person feels so kind? This person feels like someone that I could sit with in my lowest moment and reveal, my deepest secrets and, the things that I maybe feel ashamed of. I would just feel quite happy to expose myself. Oh, okay, not in that way. Okay, well, maybe, who knows? Okay. Oh dear. You know what I'm saying, right? Who honestly on the internet makes you feel that way? Yeah, please tell me, because I want to watch them. And on that note, I actually made a decision. So that part of the conversation was last night, by the way. I made a decision after that. I'm not going to watch anything, at least for a while. Never say never, but I do not want to give my attention to anything that is coming from somebody who I don't feel this person is kind. This person has a warm heart. Yeah, I've met a lot of intelligent people in my life that I haven't liked. Yeah, intellectual arrogance is not my thing. And quite often people who are supremely intelligent, the emotional side just isn't there, right? The empathy, the compassion's not there. But I've never met a kind person that I didn't like. Even if they were very different to me, there's something about the kindness. I mean, you can't fault it. And it is very, very rare. It's not that common. Confidence is actually pretty common. You get all these people on YouTube saying, it's time to be confident. I don't think it's that uncommon. I think there's a lot of confident people out there. Yeah, I really do. A lot of smart people out there. And as I always say, do not ask how smart you are. Ask how you are smart. People are smart in different ways, and I genuinely believe that most people, if you sit with them for a while, they're going to have little nuggets of wisdom for you, yeah? They're going to have something that they've acquired over time, or their brain is going to have some aspect in which it really excels, and yours doesn't, and it's going to impress you. But how many people do you meet that you just think, this person is so kind and so loving? Yeah, so that is coming from Yeshua, okay? And I was going to do a card read, but we're at 18 minutes, so I won't. I think we're all done. I wish you a beautiful day, and please find time to play.